Hey Mallards, it is Monday, and we had another game where we are missing Bells and Fizzy because they're still off doing whatever it is they're doing. And we were still at the circus, which was very exciting. As you may recall from last time, I had come up with an absolutely brilliant plan to lure the person holding an amulet into the circus tent by pretending to be Astrid, and it went off without a hitch, obviously, absolutely perfect, the complete way I designed it. He wandered into the circus tent, and I was sort of hidden, and I put on a voice so I sounded like Astrid, and I was like, oh my gosh, I've changed my mind. And he was like, oh my gosh, really? I've waited for this for forever. Meanwhile, CB was supposed to be attempting to steal the amulet from his belt, and
So that roll went less than expected. So CB had the brilliant idea to improvise and to get in the fetal position and say, push him as loud as he possibly could. Sort of throwing out stealth at that moment. But luckily, Apple came in.
Yes. So, well, not even Petra. Petra called out to Apple to do something. And Apple's part of the job was she threw some ice magic at her opponent there, and his leg was frozen where it stood. And so there, he wasn't getting away, and we could obtain the amulets.
Yeah. So, like I said, my plan went off without a hitch. So, after he was frozen, which was totally part of the plan and definitely was always part of the plan and not a backup plan or latch stitch effort when everything else went wrong, cut the amulet off of him. He then went on some thing about how the guy who runs the circus had given it to him because apparently no men in this circus understand that when a girl says she doesn't want to be with you, she means it. So we dropped his pants around his ankles, drew a crowd, and then we left him. And then we went back, and Mr. K was having a clandestine meeting with a lady, which is awkward because we know that he used to be married. So we did the only thing we could possibly do, which is we teleported immediately into the middle of the meeting to make it as awkward as possible. And then I accused him of ruining my circus trip with work, which was annoying. And then he accused me of being rude to our guest, which was also not true because I was being rude to him and not the guest. So, I don't know where he gets off saying that. But then the guest introduced herself as Kate, and Apple started freaking out.
Apple did start freaking out because Apple deduced from context clues that Kate is Hecate, goddess of magic and witchcraft, and Apple is a little witch, and was torn between falling on her knees and worshiping Hecate and just dying on the spot. And she chose right in the middle. She chose to stand still and be very freaked out. She was very excited to be introduced to Hecate, even if the team did learn her full name.
But then Apple made a really pretty offering.
Yep.
Yeah, I made some pretty flames that changed colors and had tendrils of smoke curling around in one hand, and then in the other, I had Elsa-like things happen. You got me. It looked like Elsa, and she, Hecate said my magic was lovely, and Apple just will never be sad again. She's gonna live off of that forever.
Mm-hmm.
And then
CB, he donated. He tried to give a sword that was very important to him, and he told Hecate his real name, something he has not done a single time throughout the entire run of this campaign, which is cool.
And Petra attempted to give her a stolen trinket, but it turns out that Hecate doesn't like stolen stuff. So I took that back and gave her salt, because that's a thing that magic people use for stuff. And then we learned that Mr. K's real name is Orpheus. And we were like, listen, we think it's time that we be part of the people who are in the know, instead of this, like, no, you don't know, sort of knowing you can't know kind of stuff. And he was like, you're right. I agree with you. You should definitely be in the know. But you're not going to be in the know right now because I'm ending the game so that the other players can be here when I tell you actual things. Brooke. Anything to add over there,
No.
evil, masterful DM?
No. I feel bad for Belial and the doctor when we get back next week.
Oh, Fizzy's gonna be so mad that we met a whole god without him.
Well, and also that he's been working for one of the most famous figures in Greek mythology this whole time.
Yeah, that too. So we will see you next week, and I will see you tomorrow.